Shabbat shalom, everyone. I hope you're doing well. This week's parsha is Va'era. So we're in the book of Shemot, the book of Exodus. Which we started last week. We are firmly in the story of Moshe. So last week we were introduced to Moshe. We saw his origin story, and this week is when he starts to do stuff with God. That Moshe does the bidding of God for the Jewish people. So at the beginning of the parsha, God says, "Okay, go tell the Jewish people that I'm going to remove them from bondage. I'm going to remove them from Mitzrayim, from Egypt, and I will set them to the land that they've been promised." So Moshe goes and does that, and the Jewish people aren't interested. They don't heed his words. They're described as being kotzer ruach, being short of breath. Jewish people have been worked so hard. They've been so distracted, so tired, just tired deep into their souls that they're not really interested in hearing about spirituality or God from someone who's seemingly crazy. I mean, if someone told you they went into the desert and a burning bush spoke to them and said, "I'm going to free the Jewish people," I don't know about you. I mean, I'd like to think that I would say, whatever, sure, totally. But we have to be a little protective of ourselves. The Jewish people have experienced 200 years of slavery. Why in the world would this one guy who shows up suddenly be the savior to all their problems? So the Jewish people are kotzeruach. The Jewish people are too hard of, they're too tired. They're out of breath. They can't think. They're being kept subservient because they don't have time to think. That is what a lot of us, that's what a lot of the world is, that we're worked so hard that we're distracted by new tech and clothes and things that are meaningless so that we're not thinking about the spiritual. It happens, and we're all guilty of it. But the Jewish people were living this life of no meaning because they were just so tired. They were being worked so hard. So God says, "Fine, go to Pharaoh." So Moshe goes to Pharaoh, says, "Let my people go." He doesn't, and we have the first seven of the 10 plagues. So the first plague, of course, is the blood in the Nile, and the last one in this parsha, number 7, is the hail, the fiery hail. So what's the purpose of all of these plagues? The purpose of the plagues is, first of all, to show Pharaoh that God is serious, that Moshe is not just this crazy guy, but it's also to prove to the Jewish people that that God deserves their trust. Because again, the Jewish people have been suffering in Mitzrayim for 200 years. Why should God just show up? And again, we talk about this all the time, that this gift of free will, it's the most amazing thing we've been given. It's the most godly thing we've been given, but it's not free will if God has control over it. That's the whole point, that people can do really bad things with their free will. Things like the Holocaust, things like October 7th, and that the Jewish people have to react and try to defend ourselves in any way. And again, this what happened on October 7th. No one can stop, we can't stop thinking about it, we can't stop talking about it. It's jarred us, it's moved us, it's upset us so much. And it's also united the Jewish people more than we've ever been united. It's really unbelievable. Again, if you were following, Israel was totally split in judicial reform. The country was absolutely just not together. Nothing was getting done. And since October 7th, we have this emergency wartime government that's been convened with the equivalent of two warring parties. We have Gantz and Netanyahu working together. It's not, I mean, it's something like if, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were going to work together. I mean, it's unbelievable how these people from two sides of the spectrum, from opposite sides of the spectrum, will come together because we are Jews, and that's what the connection is that we have. So yeah, it's these things that happen. We are given this free will. It's a curse and a gift, and we have to just react to it. But again, we can look for the positive things. We can look for how the Jewish people have bound together and risen up, and it's truly incredible. And then one other point I just want to share that I was thinking about, you know, it's really loud right now. All the people that are anti-Israel, all the people that hate Jews, the people that have been waiting, just waiting until they could express their Jew hatred. It's very loud. The majority of people, I don't know the actual numbers. It feels like the majority of people are anti-Israel. I don't know the actual numbers. If we look at actual polls, it would seem that there's just a very loud minority. But let's just say that the people who are anti-Israel, the ones that are very loud, they're the ones that we're hearing the most. The louder their voices are, does not make them more right. And I have to remind myself of this. I was thinking about Noah. So Noah and the ark. Noach was told he's Tzadik Ish B'Dorotav. He's this righteous man in his generation. He was good in his generation. Okay, seems like a qualifier. Noach was not able to get anyone on the ark with him besides his family. He was building this huge ark the size of what my dad likes to say is a Walmart storage supercenter. And nobody was like, "Dude, what are you doing? Why are you so serious about this? And should we get on?" He wasn't able to get anyone. He wasn't able to convince anyone. That didn't stop him from being right about the flood. So the entire world did not believe Noah, and the entire world did not make it because of that. just because we are not the loudest voice does not make us any less right and any less more on the right side of history. So we need to think about Noach in these times, that Noach survived the flood. He was not the loudest, but he was the one who was correct. And we are not the loudest, but we are correct. And that was giving me a little bit of solace. So wishing you a Shabbat Shalom. God willing, I'll see you all next week. And Shabbat Shalom.